Archangel Michael says, "My dear child, the last 3 minutes of this video could mark a new beginning for your life. Stay till the very end, and let your heart receive the blessings I have been saving for you. Heaven has sent your secret wedding invitation from God's own hand, and the name within will fill you with joy. Don't overlook what your heart was made to receive, because this moment is not just a message, it is a divine calling wrapped in light, written in grace, and sealed with love." In the quiet of the early morning, when the world still sleeps and the air feels soft with peace, there is a place deep inside your soul that begins to stir, as if it remembers something far greater than what your eyes can see. It is there, in that gentle stirring, that God whispers, not with thunder or flashes of glory, but with the quiet voice that only love can recognize. It is the sound of home. It is the voice of the one who formed you long before the stars were hung in the sky. Type 2323 if you trust in God. This invitation, unlike any other, does not arrive on paper or with gold seals, but is carried straight from the heart of God into your spirit. It is not written in ink, but in promise. It does not ask for wealth, perfection, or grand achievements. It asks for one thing only: your presence, your yes, your willingness to come closer. And within this invitation is a name. Not just any name, but yours. Your true name, the one God has always known. The one He spoke when He dreamed you into being, long before the world tried to give you another. Like this video and subscribe to this channel if God's grace has saved you. The name is not what others have called you, not the one wrapped in shame or fear, or the one buried under years of trying to be strong. It is the name that carries light. It is the name God will call when He holds out His hand and says, "Come, you are mine." When your heart hears that name, something begins to break, but not like glass shattering, more like chains falling, more like a door opening that had been shut for far too long. Heaven rejoices not because you are perfect or have earned anything, but because your heart has been chosen. You are the bride. Not in a way the world defines love, but in the eternal way that only God can offer, sacred, whole, never abandoned, never forgotten. It is a wedding of souls, a joining of heaven and earth, a reunion between the Creator and His beloved. What if the missing piece to financial success wasn't luck, but a hidden frequency inside your brain waiting to be switched on? Once activated, this ancient signal unleashes waves of prosperity, opening doors to opportunities you never thought possible. From sudden windfalls to long-awaited breakthroughs, it's transforming lives daily. Want to see how? Click the link in the video description and comments below to tap into the money magnet brain wave and begin your journey today. Others are already awakening this hidden signal and watching their lives transform. Do not be the one left behind while abundance passes you by. The road to this moment may have been long. Maybe you've walked through silence so loud it filled your days. Maybe you've wept when no one saw. Maybe you've begged for answers, for healing, for a sign that someone still cared. And now, with this quiet invitation from above, God is saying, "I saw it all. I held you through every moment. And now, I want you to come into joy." This joy is not the fleeting kind. It's not the joy that fades when the world shifts or when storms rise. It's the joy that is rooted in eternity, the kind that steadies you when everything else trembles. It comes from knowing that you are not walking this path alone. It comes from the deep assurance that God is not far off, but right here, closer than breath, waiting for you to take his hand. Archangel Michael, strong and steadfast, stands near in this moment, not to frighten or overwhelm, but to protect the sacred truth being delivered to your heart. His presence is fierce with love, yet gentle as the light through stained glass, watching over the moment your soul says yes to something bigger than your pain, bigger than your past, bigger than the world's noise. His wings, though unseen, cover you in peace. Type 999 if you trust Jesus with all your heart. As you sit with this invitation, don't rush past it. Let it wash over you like warm rain. Let it fill the broken spaces you've tried so hard to hide. Let it be a balm over every scar, every wound the world left behind. This is not a call to be strong, it's a call to be loved. To be seen. To be held without fear of rejection. This holy wedding is not marked by ceremony, but by surrender. And it is here that God speaks not just to your mind, but to your heart, to the place where longing lives. He says, I have prepared a place for you, not because you earned it, but because I love you. And now, your name is written in my hand. Even now, as you read this, heaven leans in, not to judge you, but to celebrate you. The angels sing not because you are flawless, but because you are found. And the bridegroom, your Lord, your Jesus, waits with eyes full of mercy and a heart that has never stopped calling out to yours. Archangel Michael says, the invitation sent from heaven was not written with human hands, nor was it delivered in a way the world would notice, yet it was sealed with divine care, touched by the light of God Himself, and meant only for your heart to open and embrace. There is something unexplainable that happens when your soul is gently reminded that it belongs to someone greater. It's not loud, and it doesn't demand, but it wraps itself around your being like a soft wind at dusk, stirring something sacred and old, something that has always been there, a longing to be known and loved by the one who created you. This secret wedding is not about what you've done or failed to do. It's not about the rules people gave you or the weight you've carried in silence. It's about love, not just any love, but the kind that formed the stars, the kind that breathed life into the dust and called it good, the kind that sent Jesus to walk among us, not as a king above, but as a friend who would kneel beside the broken and never turn away. When God sends you an invitation, He already knows the cracks in your voice, the fears you hide when no one is looking, the nights you tried to be brave but couldn't stop crying. And yet, He calls you beloved. He calls you chosen. This wedding is not a reward for the strong, it is a place for the weary to finally rest. Imagine it, even if just for a moment. A quiet garden where time doesn't rush, where there's no shame pressing down on your shoulders. The air is filled with light, not from the sun, but from glory, the kind that doesn't burn, only soothes. Jesus is there, not far off, but close enough to reach for your hand. His eyes hold a kind of peace that makes everything else fade. And when He speaks your name, it doesn't hurt anymore. It heals. This invitation is personal. It's not meant for a crowd. It's not about proving your worth or fixing your flaws. It's about drawing near to the heart of God, where you are not measured, only embraced. It's where you are reminded that you were made for love, not for fear, not for guilt, not for loneliness. Archangel Michael, mighty and pure, stands beside you not with fire and sword, but with calm authority, guarding what heaven has placed in your hands. Because this moment is sacred. The invitation has your name, and no one can take it from you. The joy that is coming cannot be stolen, because it comes from the Lord, and what He gives forever. Type 1010 to affirm that God's timing is perfect. You may not feel ready. You may think you need to fix everything first, to become someone more holy, more good, more something. But Jesus is not asking you to come because you are ready. He is asking you to come because He is ready to cover you with grace. He is ready to wash away the pain, the shame, the weight, and leave you standing in the truth of who you've always been to Him, precious. What if you discovered a tiny, walnut-sized brain region holds the secret to endless wealth and success? Recently uncovered by groundbreaking research and once buried in classified files, this frequency is now available to anyone ready to listen. Imagine replacing worry and struggle with a life of financial ease and freedom. Interested? Click the link in video description and comments below to unleash this hidden brainwave and start attracting wealth right now. You have been guided to this message for a reason, and if you turn away, the chance may not return. This is your time to step in. There is no room for fear here. Not in this place. Not in this invitation. God is not keeping score. He is opening His arms. He is calling you into a union that brings your heart into alignment with His. One where you are never alone again. One where the silence is filled with peace, the sorrow is met with comfort, and the doubt is replaced with light. Let yourself feel it. Let yourself believe that maybe, just maybe, this message is for you. That your name was not lost in the crowd. That your soul is not forgotten. That heaven has truly sent something for you, a beginning, a promise, a whisper of eternity wrapped in the presence of the one who never stopped loving you. And if your heart begins to ache in this moment, not with sadness but with something deeper, a longing, a stirring, a warmth you can't explain, know that this is not your imagination. This is the voice of heaven saying, "You are mine. You have always been mine. Come home." This is not just a story. It is not poetry to make you feel good. It is a truth too real to ignore, and too beautiful to deny. The joy that's coming will not leave you empty. The joy that's coming will fill the deepest parts of you, the parts that the world broke, the parts you thought would never be whole again. And the reason it will feel so complete is because it is coming from the hand of God Himself, a hand that only gives in love, never in condition. Archangel Michael says, "The hand of God that wrote your invitation did not tremble, did not hesitate, and did not forget your name, for the love behind every stroke was steady and sure, as if heaven itself waited all eternity just to reach this moment with you." There is something beautifully quiet about the way God loves. It doesn't rush in with noise or try to impress. It waits. It watches. It stays near even when we turn away, even when we forget, even when we break under the weight of life. And then, when the heart becomes still enough to listen, His voice rises like sunlight over a dark valley, saying, "You are still mine. I have not left you." This wedding invitation is not a symbol or a metaphor. It is a real and holy offering from a God who never stops longing to be close to His children. It comes not because you followed every rule, but because you are wanted. It was never about performance, only love. And when the name on that invitation is read aloud, the name He calls you when no one else is listening, something in your soul awakens, as if remembering where it came from. You were not meant to walk through life alone, surviving on pieces of hope or scraps of peace. You were created for communion, not just with others, but with your Creator. And this communion, this sacred wedding of the heart, is God's way of saying, let us be one. Let us walk together. Let us never be apart again. When Jesus gave Himself on the cross, it was more than a sacrifice. It was an invitation. He looked at the brokenness of the world and said, let me take it on myself so that you can have joy. And that same voice, the one that calmed storms and called the dead to rise, now speaks into your life, not with judgment, but with invitation. He's not asking you to be perfect. He's asking you to be present. Type 1111 if you believe heaven is listening. You may not feel ready to be loved like this. You may be carrying regrets that whisper lies in your ear, telling you that you've missed your chance or that you're too far gone. But none of that comes from God. His message is always the same, come to me. I want you. I know you. I love you. There is no shame in His presence. Only mercy. Only healing. Archangel Michael, with his strength forged in the fire of loyalty and truth, stands as a witness to this moment in your life. He is not here to impress or to frighten, but to protect the truth God has placed inside you, a truth the world may try to bury, but cannot destroy. You are not forgotten. You are not a mistake. You are not lost. You are beloved. Every tear you cried in silence, every prayer you whispered when no one else knew, every breath you struggled to take in seasons of despair, God has seen it all. And still, He chooses you. Still, He invites you. Still, He reaches for you, offering not condemnation, but covenant. In this secret wedding from heaven, there are no crowds, no grand stages, no applause. There is only you and God. A promise exchanged not with rings but with surrender. A binding of hearts that cannot be broken by failure, by fear, or by time. It is a love that holds even when you are tired. It is a love that never lets go. You don't have to fix everything before you say yes. You don't have to understand it all. You don't have to feel holy or worthy. You only need to let go of the fear that tells you love like this isn't real. Because it is. It is more real than the pain you carry. It is stronger than the lies you've believed. And it is waiting for you to simply open your heart and say, I receive it. This joy God offers is not like the joy the world offers. It doesn't disappear when trouble comes. It doesn't fade when things go wrong. It stays. It grows. It becomes a wellspring of strength when everything else falls apart. And once it takes root in your spirit, it changes how you walk through this life. Not alone. Not unsure. But held. Known. Loved. So hold this invitation like treasure. Because it is. It is not made of gold or parchment, but it carries more worth than anything in this world. And the name written inside, the name God calls you when He looks into your soul, it is filled with joy. A joy that cannot be taken. A joy that comes from the hand of the one who made you, who sees you, and who says without hesitation, "You are mine." Archangel Michael says, the secret wedding invitation from God was not just sent to your hands, it was sent into the very center of your soul, where only His voice can reach, where only His love can enter, and where the name He wrote in light has always been yours, long before time began. There are moments in life when everything slows down, not on the outside, but within, and it's in that stillness that heaven leans close, offering more than comfort, offering belonging. That belonging is not something you earn. It is something you remember. Like the scent of rain on dry ground or the first warm light of morning, it feels like home, even if you don't yet understand why. Type 1212 if you know God is guiding your steps. This invitation does not come with pressure or urgency. It comes with tenderness. It comes in the way a child is welcomed back into the arms of someone who has waited with endless patience. There is no condemnation here, no long list of conditions or expectations. There is only love. And that love, once received, begins to heal what the world could not fix. What if I told you financial freedom is not about working harder, but activating a dormant brain signal designed to draw abundance directly to you? Neuroscience proves this sound wave unlocks prosperity faster than any method known before. From unexpected cash to life-changing success, it's already helping thousands. Imagine looking back tomorrow wishing you had acted today. Do not let regret replace the miracle that is calling you right now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on the ancient money wave and create the life you've always dreamed of today. God does not need you to be strong to accept this wedding call. He does not require that you carry yourself perfectly, or arrive with spotless robes. What He desires is simple, that you come as you are, in your truth, in your weariness, in your hidden longing to be seen and chosen not for what you do, but for who you are to Him. And who you are to Him is not small. You are His creation, formed with care, spoken into existence not out of duty, but out of joy. You were never an accident. You were never overlooked. Every heartbeat you've felt, every step you've taken, has been seen. Not from a distance, but from near, painfully, beautifully near. And still, after all the storms, after all the detours, He says to you, "Come. The seat at my table is still yours." Archangel Michael, faithful and full of light, stands beside you not as a guard of rules but as a keeper of the promise, a promise that nothing, no darkness, no wound, no silence, can separate you from the love that is calling you home. He watches with holy stillness, not judging your hesitation, but honoring the sacredness of your yes. Because when you say yes, even if it is quiet, even if it is scared, even if it is unsure, heaven moves. The ground under your sorrow begins to soften. The weight in your chest begins to lift. Not because your world has changed, but because your heart has been touched by the one who never stopped waiting for it. There is a love in Jesus that cannot be explained, only experienced. It is the kind that washes over guilt and turns it into grace. It is the kind that wraps around pain and turns it into peace. And it is the kind that takes the brokenness we try to hide and gently says, "I see this. I'm not ashamed of it. I want it all." In this sacred wedding, there is no ceremony as the world would expect. There are no crowds watching, no glitter, no noise. But there is glory. There is a union taking place between your soul and God's heart that cannot be undone. You are being claimed not in shame but in honor. You are being chosen not for what you lack, but for the beauty God already sees in you. And in that choice, in that holy moment where heaven meets earth in your heart, joy begins to rise. Not the loud, temporary kind, but the quiet, steady kind that glows in the dark. It stays with you. It becomes part of your breath, part of your steps, part of the way you carry yourself forward. This is the joy the world can't offer and can never steal. It is the joy of being known and loved fully. It is the joy of belonging forever. And it comes not from a distant throne, but from the hands that were pierced out of love for you, hands that now hold your name, written with care, as a promise that you are not forgotten. So if your heart feels something stirring, even the faintest flicker, let it grow. Let it guide you into this place of peace that was made for you. You don't need to figure everything out. You don't need to fix yourself first. You only need to be willing to believe that maybe, just maybe, this is real. That maybe, this invitation truly has your name on it. That maybe, you have always been loved more than you knew. Type 1313 to affirm strength through the Lord. Archangel Michael says, the name written within your secret wedding invitation was never meant to impress the world but to awaken the part of your heart that remembers who you are to God, the part that has always longed for a love deeper than anything the world has ever given. There is something deeply holy about the way God invites you. He doesn't send an army of voices or force his way into your life. He waits with patience that stretches beyond human understanding. He speaks in moments that others might miss, a sudden stillness, a quiet tear, a gentle warmth that reaches you when you thought you had nothing left to feel. And when you least expect it, he opens his hand and shows you something you've been aching to find your whole life, the truth that you are chosen, wanted, and never forgotten. This wedding is not a dream or a fairy tale. It is a promise grounded in the deepest part of heaven. It is a bond offered from God's own heart, written not in ink but in eternity. It is not about ceremony or ritual, not about meeting some holy standard. It is about union. It is about your heart coming home. And God doesn't just open the door. He stands there, arms stretched wide, joy already shining in his eyes. You may have wandered. You may have broken. You may have given up trying to be whole. But God never gave up on you. Not once. He has followed every step of your journey, not with disappointment, but with love so deep it cannot be measured. And now, he is not asking you to explain yourself. He is asking you to be still and let yourself be loved, let yourself be held by a love that does not flinch at your wounds. There is no shame in his presence. None. The moment you walk toward him, he wraps you in a covering so pure, so healing, that all the fear and guilt you carried begin to fall away. You don't have to hide anymore. You don't have to carry the weight of being strong for everyone else. You can finally exhale. You can finally rest. Archangel Michael stands beside you not just as a witness, but as a protector of this sacred moment. His presence is not loud, but steady, like the feeling of being safe after a long storm. He sees the fragile hope blooming inside you and shields it with power that no darkness can touch. Because this isn't just an emotional moment. This is holy ground. This is where healing begins to take root. Jesus, gentle and kind, doesn't demand that you come with certainty or strength. He simply invites. He kneels to meet your eyes. He holds out his hand. He whispers your name the way only someone who's never stopped loving you can. And when you reach back, even if your hand trembles, the distance disappears. The ache begins to lift. And what is left is peace. The peace of being fully known. The peace of being completely loved. The peace of knowing you are not alone in the battles you've faced. That someone saw every moment and still chose you. That someone, the Lord Himself, has written your name into His story, not as a small character, but as someone worth celebrating, someone worth pursuing, someone worth loving forever. Type 1414 if you believe in divine protection. And that is exactly what this wedding is, a celebration of the return of your heart to the one who made it. Not a return to rules or fear, but a return to love. A return to joy. A return to the kind of relationship where nothing is hidden, nothing is forced, and everything is wrapped in the soft light of grace. What if everything you've been chasing, wealth, freedom, success, could be drawn to you automatically, simply by unlocking a secret brain wave hidden inside you? Once classified by intelligence agencies, this discovery is now available to the public, and it's changing lives instantly. Picture yourself debt-free, stress-free, and thriving. The window is open, but not forever, and every second you wait is wealth slipping from your hands, so grasp it now. Click the link in video description and comments below to awaken this money magnet frequency and watch abundance flow into your life today. You don't have to say many words. You don't have to know what to do next. God is not asking you to be perfect, only to be present. Only to say, with whatever voice you can find, I'm here. And in that simple surrender, the heavens rejoice. Not because you are fixed, but because you are found. There is so much waiting for you, not in some far-off future, but right now, here, in this love that has been chasing your heart since the day you were born. There is peace waiting to cover you. There is joy waiting to rise in you. There is a new beginning that does not depend on your past. It depends only on your willingness to receive what was always meant to be yours. Archangel Michael says, the invitation held in your heart was not delayed, not misplaced, and not meant for someone else. It was always yours, wrapped in God's own timing, delivered through His mercy, and whispered into your spirit at the very moment your soul was most ready to receive it. Sometimes, without even realizing it, we walk through life carrying quiet aches that we never speak aloud, wounds that didn't heal quite right, hopes we tucked away because they seemed too fragile to protect, and memories that feel like shadows clinging to the edges of our joy. But even when we think we've hidden those places well, God sees them. He sees all the pieces we've tried to gather, all the times we've smiled while our hearts ached, all the nights we whispered prayers into our pillow when no one else knew. He sees, and still He says, "Come to me." This wedding is not a reward for being strong. It is not a prize for those who have it all together. It is an open door for the tired, for the broken-hearted, for the ones who are barely holding on. It is a sacred space prepared by God, not for the perfect, but for the willing. And when you step toward Him, even just a little, He meets you in that step and carries you the rest of the way. There is a beauty in surrender that this world often misses. We are taught to fight, to strive, to hold everything together with our own hands. But with God, surrender isn't weakness, it's healing. It's peace. It's the gentle act of saying, I don't have to do this alone anymore. And when you release all that you've been carrying, God does not leave you empty. He fills you with something eternal, something that stays. Jesus doesn't come with demands. He comes with open arms. His love doesn't force or manipulate. It invites. It waits. It reaches for you even when your faith feels small, even when your heart is unsure. And when you allow yourself to say yes, when you let that love come close, it begins to soften every hard place inside you. Archangel Michael remains near, his presence firm but quiet, watching over the holy shift happening within you. Because saying yes to this invitation changes everything, not all at once, and not with fireworks, but with a slow and steady grace that begins to touch everything around you. Your heart, once heavy, starts to rise. Your breath, once held in fear, begins to flow freely again. And your spirit, once tired from running, finally finds rest. Type 1515 to receive peace in your soul today. This is not about escaping your life. This is about being restored within it. It's about walking through the same days with new eyes, because your soul is now anchored in a love that will never leave. The invitation is not to leave behind your humanity, but to bring it fully into God's presence, where it is accepted, embraced, and made new. Sometimes joy begins in quiet places. Not in celebration, but in surrender. Not in loud declarations, but in soft acknowledgments that we are deeply loved by a God who has never stopped seeing us. And from that sacred awareness, a new kind of strength is born, the kind that doesn't come from striving, but from abiding. You are not being asked to become someone else. You are being invited to remember who you truly are, not by the world's definition, but by heaven's. You are the beloved. You are the invited. You are the one for whom God wrote a love story that begins and ends in His arms. This wedding, this sacred binding of your heart to God's, is not a moment that passes. It is a beginning that continues every day you wake up and choose to walk in love instead of fear, in grace instead of guilt, in hope instead of despair. It is in every quiet moment you whisper His name, not out of duty, but because your heart knows it is safe there. Let yourself receive this. Don't rush past it. Don't second-guess it. You are not imagining the pull inside you. You are not being foolish to feel this deeply. This is real. This is the Holy Spirit breathing life into the places you thought were too far gone. This is Jesus reminding you that your name is still written, still shining, still held. Archangel Michael says, the joy wrapped within your wedding invitation from heaven is not the kind that flickers and fades, but the kind that remains even in the silence, even in the waiting, even when all the world seems to forget, because it was given by God, and what He gives is eternal. There is a moment in every soul's journey when the heart begins to hear something it almost forgot, a sound softer than music, warmer than light, familiar in a way that makes you feel as though you are being called home after a long and quiet wandering. It's not a shout. It's not a demand. It's more like a steady pull, gentle and kind, calling you not toward perfection, but toward closeness. God does not need your strength to love you. He does not need your certainty, your success, or even your understanding. All He wants is your heart. Not just the part you've cleaned up and tried to make presentable, but all of it. The unsure parts. The wounded places. The quiet doubts you don't say out loud. He wants every part, not to judge, but to hold. Not to fix in haste, but to gently heal with a love that knows no end. This secret wedding is not an escape from your life, but a holy joining within it, where your pain is not ignored, but touched by grace, and your story is not erased, but rewritten with mercy. God sees where you've been. He knows the days that nearly broke you. He knows the prayers you whispered that seemed to vanish into the night. And still, He calls your name with joy, not regret. With delight, not disappointment. The invitation is not a request for you to rise above your humanity, but for you to rest inside it, knowing that even your brokenness is not too much for God. He is not tired of you. He is not surprised by your struggle. He has seen it all and chosen you anyway. Again and again. Without hesitation. Type Amen if you surrender fully to God's will. Archangel Michael stands near, not as a distant figure of power, but as a companion of light, aware of the sacredness of this moment in your spirit. His presence is strong but quiet, like the hush before dawn, guarding the beauty of what is unfolding in you. Because what is happening now is not just an emotional stirring. It is your soul remembering that it belongs somewhere, in the arms of the one who has never let it go. Jesus does not stand far off with arms crossed, waiting for you to measure up. He draws near with tenderness. He stands beside you with eyes full of compassion, reaching for your hand, not to lead you into pressure, but into peace. When you take that hand, even with all your fear, even with all your questions, you are saying yes to the greatest love your heart will ever know. The name written inside your invitation was not picked at random. It was spoken before the world was made. It is your true name, the one not shaped by the world's wounds or your past mistakes, but by the Father's joy. That name is known in heaven. That name is precious. And God has never stopped calling it with love. The joy that fills your heart when you begin to believe that truth is not just emotion. It is restoration. It is the return of something holy that life may have tried to steal. It is the beginning of a new way of walking, not alone, not in fear, but side by side with Jesus, who knows the way and holds you through it. This joy isn't always loud. It won't always look like laughter or celebration. Sometimes it's just the soft relief of knowing you're not lost. Sometimes it's the stillness that settles when you stop pretending to be okay and finally allow yourself to be held. Sometimes it's the tear that slips down your cheek when you realize you are loved in a way that doesn't make sense, but somehow feels truer than anything else. And as that joy begins to rise, even if it's slow, even if it's quiet, it becomes your strength. It becomes your foundation. It becomes the way you begin to see yourself not through the eyes of shame, but through the gaze of the one who calls you beloved, no matter what. God is not asking for your perfection. He is inviting you into His presence. He is offering a place where your soul can breathe again, where your heart can rest without fear, and where your spirit can rise without hesitation. This wedding is not a single moment. It is a lifelong love story between you and your Creator, written in mercy, held in grace, and sealed with joy that will never run dry. So let this part of the invitation sink deep. Let the joy begin to warm the places inside you that have grown cold. Let your heart believe that this is not too good to be true, it is too real to be denied. And it is yours. Because your name is still there, written in light, written in love, and written forever in the heart of God. What if the fastest path to wealth was already inside your mind, waiting to be activated by a powerful sound wave? Scientists call it the money-attracting frequency, and once awakened, it begins drawing opportunities, success, and financial freedom like never before. Imagine the relief of no more bills and the joy of living your dreams. This is more than an offer, it is a divine turning point. Your destiny is waiting, but only if you choose to move now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on this ancient brain wave today. Archangel Michael says, this divine invitation from God is not a metaphor and not a distant dream, it is a holy truth, quietly written into the fabric of your being, sealed with love, and offered from the heart of the one who has waited patiently for you to hear it, receive it, and know that it has always been meant for you. Type 1717 to affirm your life is in God's hands. There is a tenderness to God's love that words often fail to capture, not because it is weak or delicate, but because it is so deep, so full of grace, that it wraps around every shattered place inside you without forcing change, without pushing, only holding, only healing. When you are quiet enough to feel it, you begin to notice that it has been near you all along. Not outside, not above, but within, humming like a song your soul has always known. The wedding God invites you into is not grand in the way people think of beauty. There are no crowds, no stage, no applause. Instead, there is a garden of peace. There is a stillness where shame cannot enter. There is light that does not blind but warms. And there is Jesus, standing not as a judge, but as your bridegroom, not offering requirements, but offering rest. You may have spent years searching for a place where you belong, a voice that calls you home, a love that does not change when life becomes heavy. And now, without noise or fanfare, God whispers, "You belong to me. I've never let you go." That belonging is not something you earn. It is a gift. A promise. A truth older than the pain you've walked through, stronger than the sorrow you've carried. God sees your heart. Not just the parts you show the world, but all of it. The places you thought were too wounded to be healed. The silence you've lived in for far too long. The questions you were afraid to ask. And still, He says your name with gentleness. Still, He offers this invitation, not as a reminder of what you've lost, but as a doorway into what has always been waiting, His joy, His peace, His presence. Archangel Michael stands in quiet reverence, watching over this unfolding moment with eyes that understand the sacredness of it. His strength is not just in battle but in gentleness, in holding space for what heaven has longed to see, a heart coming back to where it has always belonged. He guards not just your steps, but your healing, honoring each small yes you give to the love that's reaching for you. And it is a small yes that begins the transformation, not loud, not even certain, but honest. Just a whisper inside your spirit that says, I want this. I want you. That whisper is more than enough for God. He does not ask for grand promises. He does not need perfect prayers. He only asks for you, as you are, where you are, no more and no less. Jesus, in His kindness, is not waiting for a better version of you. He is not looking for flawless faith or flawless obedience. He simply wants your presence. He wants to walk with you in every moment, not just the holy ones, but the hard ones. Not just the days of celebration, but the days of doubt. Because love like His does not leave when things fall apart. It stays. It carries. It weeps with you. It rejoices with you. It never gives up. The joy of this wedding is not in ceremony. It is in union. A union where your heart is finally safe. A union where your past is not ignored, but gently redeemed. A union where your pain is not dismissed, but slowly transformed by love that never runs dry. That joy begins to rise not because everything changes at once, but because your heart knows, perhaps for the first time, that it is truly home. Type 1818 to claim miracles and breakthroughs. Let this joy take root. Let it grow in places that have forgotten how to feel. Let it warm you on days when the world feels cold. Let it become the rhythm of your breath, the soft glow behind your eyes, the quiet strength that holds you when you feel you have nothing left. Because joy that comes from God is not loud, but it is steady. It does not depend on your circumstances. It comes from being known, chosen, and loved, all at once. Your name has not been forgotten. Your invitation has not been misplaced. It is still here, still alive, still shining with the same light it was written in. And when you hold it close, not with fear, but with trust, heaven leans in. Heaven rejoices. Not because you are perfect, but because you are present. And in that presence, God is already at work, already drawing near, already making something beautiful out of everything that once felt broken. Archangel Michael says, the moment you open your heart to this divine invitation, heaven doesn't just notice, it rejoices, because the love God has been holding for you since the beginning of time has found its way into your hands, and your soul, at last, is beginning to feel what it was always created to feel, the safety of being truly known and deeply loved. There is no shame in needing love. There is no weakness in longing for something more. These quiet needs that stir inside you, the ache for peace, the hunger to be seen, the deep pull toward something you can't explain, these are not flaws. These are the very echoes of the divine invitation that has been calling to you from the beginning. They are the soft reminders that you were made for union with God, not distance, not fear, not striving. So often, life teaches us to survive with just enough love, just enough peace, just enough hope to get by. But God is not the God of just enough. He is the God of abundance, of overflowing grace, of joy that doesn't end at the surface but spills into the deepest corners of your heart. And when He invites you into this secret wedding, He is not asking you to settle. He is offering everything. This invitation is not just a message. It is a covenant, not of rules, but of relationship. It is the holy joining of your humanity with His holiness, not so that you will become someone else, but so that you can become more of who He created you to be. It's not about losing yourself. It's about finding the version of yourself that was always waiting beneath the noise, the fear, the weight of this world. God knows what you've walked through. Not a single tear has been wasted. Not a single moment of pain has gone unseen. And yet, His love has never wavered. It has remained constant, like the sky above the clouds, always present, even when you couldn't feel it. And now, He's drawing close, not to remind you of what went wrong, but to show you what has always been right, His love for you. Archangel Michael remains at your side, not distant or cold, but near and watchful, a quiet guardian of the sacred flame that has begun to flicker back to life within you. He knows the journey hasn't been easy. He knows the days you doubted, the nights you wept, the weight you carried that no one else understood. And still, He smiles, because He sees what's unfolding now, a soul being restored to its place in the heart of God. Jesus, your bridegroom, is not hurrying you. He is not pushing or pressuring. He is simply waiting, patient and kind, for you to lean a little closer, to listen a little deeper, to believe that maybe this love truly is for you. And every time you move toward Him, even if only in thought, even if only in a whisper, He meets you there. Not with hesitation. Not with distance. But with arms wide open. Type 1919 if you believe healing is yours. There is healing in this love. Not the kind that demands that everything be perfect tomorrow, but the kind that begins by sitting with you in your hurt and holding you through it. The kind that says, you don't have to do this alone anymore. The kind that doesn't fix you to make you worthy, but embraces you because you already are. You may not feel like you're ready for something this sacred. You may feel like your heart is too bruised, too tired, too unsure. But God is not waiting for readiness. He is waiting for willingness. Just the smallest space you're willing to give Him, He will fill with peace. Just the smallest yes, and He will cover you with grace. The wedding isn't marked by music or flowers, but by surrender. It happens in the unseen places, in your spirit when you stop running, in your mind when you allow yourself to hope again, in your heart when you realize that this love is not going anywhere. It is staying. It is holding. It is transforming you one breath at a time. And this joy, this quiet joy that begins to grow, is not here to visit. It's here to remain. It will walk with you into your ordinary days. It will comfort you when you feel alone. It will whisper reminders of God's love when the noise of the world tries to drown it out. Because this joy isn't built on what you do. It's built on who He is. And He is faithful. So let yourself rest in that truth. Let yourself believe that the name on the invitation, your name, was not a mistake. Let your soul exhale the weight it's been carrying. Because you are seen. You are chosen. You are loved with a love that has no ending. And heaven, even now, is rejoicing over you. Not because you have arrived, but because you are finally home. Amen.